Hello everybody, this is part 3 on my 4-part review on The Dark Knight Rises, my thoughts on the movie. In this video I'll be talking about Bane's fighting style. That's right, that near the end of the video I'll do some of the moves that Bane did in the movie and recreating the way how he broke Batman according to the comic books, because obviously there's a few reasons why, because that's one of the things that we remember and know about when it comes to Bane, Batman in the comic books, and the fact that it's one of the biggest things that happened when it came to the character of Batman in the comic books, and it's the reason why Bane is called the man who broke the bat, because out of all the villains Batman has encountered, Bane was the one who was successful to deal a lot of damage to Batman, to do something to Batman, and that was to literally break him, which was to lift him up in the air and smash him over his knee, with his knee hitting a certain part in his back, like there's the back, right, and then there's the spine. And what Bane did, he used his knee to hit Batman right at one of the parts of the spine, and that's what caused Batman to be paralyzed. Therefore, why Bane is the man who broke the bat, that he made Batman paralyzed and was the only person to do that. So yeah, okay, here we go, about Bane's fighting style in the movie. Again, you will have to go back to the origin of Bane. How about his origin in the comic books? That what happened is that, again, growing up in a prison, learning some things from the few other prisoners, and one of those things will have to be how to fight, and the fact that as he did that, he took whatever styles the prisoners have learned and put them all together to make his own fighting style, which is then similar to the idea of mixed martial arts, and of course to Bruce Lee when it comes to Bruce Lee's martial art and philosophy, Jeet Kune Do. Of course, much respects to Bruce Lee, the legend, of course. And yes, and that and that I mentioned this. Oh yeah, of course, because whether it be mixed martial arts or Bruce Lee's martial art and philosophy, Jeet Kune Do, which is one of the principles that is mentioned, especially in Jeet Kune Do, which is to take techniques, from some styles, and have them together so as to create your own personal fighting style. And that is in the case of Bane, and that's something I've noticed, that whether it's a comic book, video game, TV, anything that's fictional, that if there's a character that has a fighting style, the fighting style of the character is either based on a real life actual fighting style, that it will be a combination of styles, or it's probably a made-up style that was made up and created when it came to making the character and when it came to making the work of fiction that the character will appear in. So yeah, and so when it comes to Bane's fighting style, I'll just say that it's mostly striking, that he will mostly punch, but then of course he'll do some kicks, and that I'm going to demonstrate to you some of the strikes he would do. That for Bane, I noticed that it's mostly punching, but similar to the punching we see from boxers, So I hope you're able to see this clearly. Okay, so there's the jab, cross, and also there'll be the hooks, which is what Bane will do. And I haven't had a chance to see him do the uppercut, but it depends, because of the uppercut, if a boxer is going to do uppercut, they have to know about the timing and when they can do it, and if there's a chance, opening to do it, so they be like that, and that's one of the things of sometimes boxers would do in order to get a knockout. Now, but for Bane, it's mostly punches. They're like boxing like, but also I've noticed how it's not open-handed; it's just closed hand. See what I mean? That he would just punch, like that, not open-handed, in terms of the fact that I didn't really see him do like something like a palm strike. Palm strike is like this. Okay, so that's a palm strike, or a knife hand, which is like this. So he went like that, like in karate, for example. And that leads me to the next thing I want to mention, that for Bane, he does some kicks, which will either be like a front kick, you know. I won't be doing this on the punching bag because I don't have anything to hang the punching bag, and I don't want it to fall down as I'm trying to demonstrate what I'm trying to demonstrate. Some of the things I'm talking about, which it would be, you know, front kick, right, or the side kick, you know, again, the side kick, right, and which with these type of kicks, I would say it'll be the kind of kicks you see from martial arts that have originated from Asia, such as karate, you know, and so that's the thing. I've noticed that Bane's fighting style is mostly striking. I'm going to talk about ranges of combat, which is, of course, again, has to do with mixed martial arts, and again with Bruce Lee's martial art and philosophy, Jeet Kune Do, which is ranges of combat means having to do with certain areas in fighting, which will be the striking, grappling, and wrestling. Now, in Bane's case, there was two scenes. One scene is where Bane is going in to do his attack on stock market. That he's in front of security guards and he would hit them, you know. But there was one part where he grabbed a security guard arm by the wrist as the security guard was holding a gun, and so he did that so as to prevent himself from getting shot at. And then he would grapple, you know, have the security's arm on his shoulder, having the security guard shoot whatever other security guards would be coming in, and so that's a grappling. That's an example of grappling. So he would do that, and at the same time, he'll, you know, hit the security guard that had the gun. And so grappling, as in, like, you know, joint locks, breaking the arms, you know, even breaking the legs. So if someone's going to kick me, say for example, then I would just grab it, you know, and then break the ankle, break the knee, right? So Bane, he can do grappling and ground fighting. There's one part when it comes to the first fight, in his first fight with Batman, that they're fighting. There's one moment that Batman would harpoon Bane, put Bane on the ground, so Batman's punching him. But so what Bane did is that he just stopped Batman by blocking him, by putting his arm to the shoulder of Batman with his other arm, you know, on the other arm of Batman, and sort of protecting him. And he did a hit butt on Batman and threw Batman on the ground. And so Bane is able to handle himself in ground fighting. So that's the thing. Bane, his fighting style is mostly striking, and that he can do a little bit of grappling and he can do a little bit of ground fighting, but it's mostly striking. But that's a good thing, because even though I know people, whether it be martial artists or mixed martial arts, that they'd be worried about covering these ranges, you know, striking, grappling, and wrestling. But then in Bane's case, it's striking because that's how it is in the comic book. He's mostly a striker. He mostly does strikes in his fighting, okay? And that he makes use of his strength. Of course, that's the thing about Bane. He's strong, and we know, and that's how we know about Bane, because the fact that he's someone is strong. And oh boy, I gotta tell you another thing though. In the movie, he's very fast. Like, honestly, because, and it's so unbelievable that you have to see the movie yourself so you know what I mean by the fact that he's very fast with, like, punches, all that, you know. And that's pretty much it on that part. I just want to take a moment to mention how I myself, Freddy, I used to be in martial arts before. I mean, I was in martial arts before, and that I spent a lot of time in the internet reading about martial arts, the different styles of martial arts, and martial arts in general, just some information, bits and pieces, you know. And that just recently, at this time, I have came back into martial arts. So yeah, and that I'm mentioning this to you so that, because if someone's going to talk about something, you know, it'd be good if they know what is it they're talking about, you know. And otherwise, if someone is going to talk about something they don't know much about, then, you know, then that person's going to have a hard time talking about it, than the fact that if they're going to say something, they may not know exactly what they're talking about, you know. But in my case, I know what I'm talking about, as I've been into martial arts, that I have been into a dojo before, and that just recently I just went back into martial arts. So yeah. And then of course I hope that this helps you out to know about Bane's fighting style, and that right now I'm going to end this video by doing some of the moves he would do in the movie and recreating the way he broke Batman in the comic books, but with the help of this punching bag right here. Okay, and of course, last thing, about whether or not Bane breaks Batman in The Dark Knight Rises, I'm gonna leave that up to you. So, okay, here we go. So one part he does like that, then kick Batman out of the way, go like this. Another part that he's about to fight Batman, he goes like this, and then ends with a kick. And I gotta tell you something again, that Bane is very fast, and he has a wicked combo when it comes to the hooks. So he'd be like this, like that, but very fast, you know. And now I'm gonna do the breaking of the bats. Let's see, hope you're able to see me. Okay, here we go. Okay. And there we go. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and that I hope this was a special treat for you, especially for those that want to know about Bane's fighting style, and for those that know about Batman and about Bane and how is it Bane made Batman paralyzed, therefore making him, having him be called the man who broke the bat. And so that's it. This has been part 2. Look out for part 3. This is part 3. Look out for part 4, and that's it. Thank you and goodbye.